we've been watching a lot of the stuff going on with the Oscars, and this is actually going to be one of the last times I get to use this because this is going to be the last edition of the year, probably, of I've been following the SAG, the BAFTA, the Golden Globe, so many award shows leading into the Oscars to give us some predication or indication of what was going to happen at the biggest show for movies. And I got to say that they did a really, really great job of celebrating film. This time around, it felt like a celebration. It didn't feel as snooty as sometimes the Oscars can feel, which I think is that injection of youth that they've put in there has really, really helped. So let's get into the nominations, the winners, and how we feel about it. And I'm going to break it down. So starting with actors in the leading role, this is coming from Oscars.org, pulling straight from the source. Obviously, Cillian Murphy with Bradley Cooper, Colin Domingo, Paul Giamatti, Jeffrey Wright was in there. Cillian Murphy and Paul Giamatti were the only two people that probably had any chance of winning, but Cillian Murphy has been winning most of the awards, not every single award. The only thing he split was the Golden Globe because he's in drama. Paul Giamatti was in comedy. If Paul Giamatti would have won the SAG award, then maybe there was going to be a chance that he had a chance here, but Cillian was sweeping almost every single thing when he went one-on-one against Paul Giamatti, and these other actors unfortunately were never really in the conversation. So no surprises here. I think it's well deserved. I think Cillian Murphy did a great job holding down and carrying that film. I know some people say his performance wasn't dynamic, but I think he did what he needed to do to exemplify or embody Robert Oppenheimer in a way that made it interesting for viewers, and obviously he did a really good job. The movie almost made $1 billion, so I'm excited to see his future. I know that his next project is going to be 28 years later, which is going to be a sequel to I guess the third movie in 28 days, 28 weeks, and now we're going to get 28 years. I've been waiting for this for so long. Obviously, one of his breakout roles was in 28 days later. He didn't come in 28 weeks later. So it's really cool to see that he's going to be producing and maybe playing a part in the film. I don't know if he's going to be starring. The details of that hasn't come. I know Bradley Cooper will be fine. He will still be in the MCU probably. And also he's going to have other roles. He directed this film, so I definitely see him directing other films and producing other films and, making opportunities for himself. But also he did such a great job in this film that I could see other people trying to bring him on. Now he is another Oscar nominee, and having that title opens doors. Colin Domingo already has his next few projects down the bucket. He has Sing Sing for A24 coming out, and Euphoria season 3 is going to be coming soon. And I'm sure it seems like he's been talking to the MCU, so I can see him popping up in the MCU soon. I'm not too sure who he could play, but I'm excited to see him get into a franchise. Paul Giamatti has his podcast, but he also has, I think, another role. I think he's teaming up with Alexander Payne for the first time since Sideways to do a new star in his new movie. So Paul Giamatti already has his next project, but this was great to highlight him. And Jeffrey Wright, I believe, has been signed on for some projects. I'm not sure if they're leading roles, but I want to see him in more leading roles. Obviously, he's going to be in the Batman 2, which got pushed, and we're going to be talking about that a little later on in the rapid fire news, but Jeffrey Wright is going to be fine as well. When it comes to actors in a supporting role, this one was pretty much very, very predictable. There wasn't even with the actors in the leading role, it was kind of like, oh, maybe Paul Giamatti might win, but we knew Robert Downey Jr. was going to win. He swept and dominated all of the awards. The narrative's always been Robert Downey Jr. I think this was not only because he did have a good to great performance in Oppenheimer, but also they wanted to celebrate him. He's never won an Oscar, and I think it was about time. He's on the tail end of his career, and I think that it was about time for him to win. I think this is not the same situation as maybe like a Jamie Lee Curtis, who I think didn't deserve that at all. No offense to Jamie Lee Curtis, but I do think that maybe there was other more interesting performances here. But I'm happy for Robert Downey Jr. He also had a great speech. I don't know what projects he has lined up. I'm sure he has other things lined up. I'm sure that he's going to try to get into the next Christopher Nolan project because that's the guy who brought him back, and most likely Cillian Murphy will be in that too because Christopher Nolan has already announced that he's writing his next movie. So he's already moving on to the next one. Is it going to be Bond? Is it going to be something original? We'll see. Starlight K. Brown will be fine. I'm pretty sure he has tons of projects down the line. I think I saw some announced for him. Not 100% sure. Robert De Niro already has his next mobster movie announced. Ryan Gosling has The Fall Guys coming out, and from early talk, that is a really fun time. And Mark Ruffalo will be in the MCU here and there, and I'm pretty sure after his performance in Poor Things, he will be in other non-superhero stuff because he deserves to be. He was so great in this film. Actress in a leading role, this was another one that was like the most competitive one. I think that obviously it was only the two kind of like the actors in a leading role, but this one felt more like it could be a possibility that Emma Stone was going to win. I think Emma Stone had a lot of momentum, but it was a chance for Lily Gladstone to win here, but Emma Stone won. I don't think she even thought she was going to win because her reaction seemed so surprised. It didn't seem like she had a speech prepared. I think she really thought Lily Gladstone was going to win this. And it seemed like she was going to be happy for Lily Gladstone to win this because it seems like they have built up a relationship, a friendship being nominated. And I think that will be really exciting if they work together soon. We're going to be talking about Emma Stone's next project. She has 2 projects already lined up for herself, and her Cruella 2 also is on the docket. So Emma Stone is set for the next couple years in terms of projects. Lily Gladstone has a Hulu TV show coming out where she plays a cop. I'm going to definitely go check that out because I think she's very, very talented, but I really hope she gets on the big screen again. I know she had another movie that came out early this year. I think it debuted last year, but it came out officially this year. So I definitely want to get and check that out. I heard that was really good. Annette Bening is she's been in this thing for a long time, and I'm sure she'll be fine and she'll continue to get roles. Sandra Hüller looks like, I heard that she already signed up for her next role. Not too sure it was. Carey Mulligan already was a spaceman, and I think she's going for the next Emerald Fennell film because she was in Saltburn with her. So I'm sure that Carey Mulligan will be fine. She has created a cinematic universe of being a wife for people who are sad. So yeah, all these actresses should be fine. Emma Stone, to me, deserved this win because she was, to me, the best performance of the year, man or woman. But you know, it's sad that Lily Gladstone, I honestly think Lily Gladstone should have been in Best Supporting Actress, and I think she would have had a good chance of winning and competing with Divine Joy Randolph. In this here, it was never a doubt that she was going to win. I think Lily Gladstone could have took America Ferrera's spot, or actually even maybe Jodie Foster's spot in this place, because it would have been really great. Or even Emily Blunt. I don't think Emily Blunt was needed in this category as well. But Divine Joy Randolph was great in the Holdovers. She swept the award season. There was never any chance for anyone to beat her. And I'm just really glad that she got a win. And her speech afterwards about how resilient you have to be as an actor and how you can't let the awards define you was really great. And it's something that any creative that you're doing, awards are important, but if you can't let them define how much you love your passion. And I think that was really great for her to say, and I think it applies to any creative endeavor that you do. Animated feature film, this is the category that pissed me off the most and really upset me, because I predicted when I did my my final Oscar predictions, where I was way off on a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, I predicted that Boy and the Heron was going to win because the narrative and the momentum was behind it. It winning the SAG, it winning the BAFTA. Did it win the Golden Globe? I'm not 100% sure. No. Golden Globe doesn't have any animated features. So won the SAG and won the BAFTA. So it seems like that was a predication that was going to win. I know that Across the Spider-Verse won like a lot of the animated festival awards, but those don't hold as much weight. And I think Hayao Miyazaki, with him like winding down his career, the fact that he didn't win for Spirited Away or Howl's Moving Castle, I think that they were like, we're gonna win. We're gonna make him win this. I'm in the minority when it comes to The Boy and the Heron. It's a very popular movie. People love this film. I did not, unfortunately. I thought it was boring in the first half and confuddling in the second half. I was just like, I get what they're trying to do in this film. I got the point, but did not like the execution at all. It's a gorgeously animated film, but just not very good, in my opinion, when it comes to story or characters. I love that Elemental was here, Nimona, and I haven't seen Robot Dreams because it hasn't really been anywhere. And obviously, I think Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse should have won this hands down. It seemed like this was going to be an easy win for it. It was, out of all these films, to me, animation wise, it was revolutionary and it's pushing the boundaries, and a lot of movies are going to try to catch up to how this looks. But Unfortunately, a lot of people are saying, that there's going to be a third one, so they'll have another chance. Well, hopefully that's true. All three of these Spider-Man films should have won Best Animated Feature, but Boy and the Heron wins. When it comes to cinematography, Oppenheimer won. I felt like this is a little bit of a boring choice. I felt like Maestro had better cinematography. Poor Things maybe had better cinematography. El Conde had a really great cinematography. But we knew that Oppenheimer was going to win a lot of the technical stuff, which it split with Poor Things. So Oppenheimer wins. It was a really great looking film, but I wish that they gave it to something that was a little bit more creative, and because the cinematography in Oppenheimer, I don't feel like it used that to tell the story as much. I feel like with Maestro and especially Poor Things, they were storytelling devices. Costume design, Poor Things. I do think this should have went to Barbie. Or even though I don't like Napoleon, I could see Napoleon getting it because the costumes in there were great. So I think it should have been more Barbie and Napoleon, leading more Barbie, because that really brings that movie to life, the costumes. But Poor Things win, and I'm not even mad at it because the costume design in that film, especially for Bella Baxter, is fantastic. Directing, this was going to be also a lockup. We knew Christopher Nolan was going to win for Oppenheimer. To me, it's well deserved. That film was a difficult film to direct. I think that we've seen so many biopics come and go, and a lot of them don't end up being such high grossing films, or even being in people's top 10 movies of all, top 50 movies of all time. A lot of people, including me, feel like this is one of the best movies ever made. So it just makes sense. He directed it in a way where it has such great momentum. It was moving, but you still got everything you need to get out of this scene. So I think this was the best directed film of the year. Anatomy of Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, Zone of Interest, all well deserving. Maybe, I think after seeing Zone of Interest, I feel like maybe this could have been swapped out for something else, but I'm not mad at it. It was a very experimental and interesting film, but Oppenheimer wins, and I think it was well deserved. The documentary stuff, I don't really know too much. All I kept hearing was 20 Days in Mariupol was going to win. I heard it's a hard watch. It's about what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, and showing like live footage and stuff. So I saw this winning. I haven't seen any of them, so I can't have too much commentary, but I've heard all great things about all 4 of these, or all 5 of these. So if you are into documentaries and you haven't seen any of these, definitely check these out. Documentary short film, also another thing that I have not seen or heard. I only have heard of Nyad Wapo. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly. But other than that, I haven't heard of the winner, The Last Repair Shop, which is interesting. I think, oh no, this is not the Barber one. This is the one, the Barber Little Rock. I haven't heard of any of these films other than this one, but this is the one that won. Film editing. At first I was like, really, Oppenheimer? But now that I'm thinking about it, the way the film was edited and it built the narrative, it is part of how that movie is momentum works. So it is a well-deserving film. The editing of the film makes the movie really work really well. I think Killers of the Flower Moon, maybe, I don't think it deserved to be on here. Holdovers had really good editing. The beginning was kind of slow, but I think it was edited well together. And Anatomy of Fall had fantastic editing, and Poor Things had really great editing as well. But Oppenheimer, another technical award it deserved. Let me know what you guys think if in the live chat, and if you're watching this afterwards, let me know about everything I'm talking about here. It's funny that Yorgos Lanthimos is the one that directed this, but Yorgos another directed this. That's hilarious. I mean, edited this. That's hilarious. So he got another Yorgos to edit the film. Best international feature. This could have been way stronger if they would have added Godzilla, and they would have added Anatomy of Fall. Then it would have been a little bit more of a competition, even though Godzilla probably wouldn't have won because Zone of Interest and Anatomy of Fall were in Best Picture. But I seen Society of Snow, great film. I seen Zone of Interest. I didn't really think it was that great. I heard Il Capitano is good. I heard Perfect Days is amazing, and I heard Teacher's Lounge is really great as well. I haven't seen it yet. I definitely want to check out Perfect Days and Teacher's Lounge soon. But Zone of Interest was going to win. It's the only film in here that was in Best Picture. So it was just like an automatic win. Anatomy of Fall was here, then it would have been more of like, oh, well, maybe, they're both in Best Picture, but since it was the only one in Best Picture, it just makes sense. But Society of Snow is definitely worth a watch, and I heard Perfect Days is worth a watch, and Teacher's Lounge. I haven't really heard about the Italy one. Makeup and hairstyling. Poor Things. Honestly, I thought this was going to go to Maestro because that was a huge part of that film and the center of that film. Even like Society of Snow, all these kind of deserve it. Maybe not Oppenheimer. for makeup and hairstyle. I guess understand costume design, but I guess that was for when they made them older. But I didn't even think the older look was that great in that film. That was kind of one of the weakest parts. But Poor Things, when you look at Willem Dafoe, when you look at Bella Baxter's transformation throughout the movie, it just makes sense. Gold is a film I haven't seen, but from what the clips I've seen, the makeup and hairstyling was fantastic. I really wish Priscilla wasn't here because that was phenomenal in terms of makeup and hairstyling. I would have made it win, but Poor Things is a great choice. Musical score, I thought also Oppenheimer definitely should have won this. I still hear that score in my head sometimes. I wasn't sure about American Fiction, but when they played the music, when they showed the clip, I was like, oh, yeah, actually, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the American Fiction does have really good music. Dial of Destiny had great music. I know that not everybody likes that film, but John Williams did a good job. Kills the Flower Moon has really good music as well, and Poor Things has Murrell music as well. So these are all well-deserving films, but Oppenheimer, I think, score really helps. What the editing and the score really helps that film and makes it rise over other biopics. This was also locked up. What Was I Made For was going to win. If you voted against it or thought something else was going to win in this category, even I'm just kidding. I know some people were thinking, but no. This won the Grammy this year. There was no way this was going to lose an Oscar after winning a Grammy. It's been sweeping up at all the other awards. Billie Eilish, who's like one of the biggest pop stars in the world. She's not the biggest, because it's probably Taylor Swift. And then she had a great performance at the Oscars. Not as great as I'm Just Ken's performance, but a great performance nonetheless. Best Picture. Oppenheimer wins. This was kind of locked up for a long time. I don't think there was any movie here that was really, really strong enough to compete with it. I love American Fiction, but I don't think it was a strong enough box office or popularity. Anatomy of Fall, same thing. Barbie was probably the only thing, but I don't think the Academy loved the film as much as we think it is, because it didn't get Best Director, it only got one acting nom, didn't win any technical awards. The Holdovers being a Christmas film, and I guess another thing not really big in box office, Kills the Flower Moon. It looks like people soured on it because it didn't really win anything at all. It went home empty-handed, which is crazy. Maestro, I didn't even think deserved to be here. I didn't think it was one of the best films of the year. Past Lives, a beloved film, but I think it was just too small. Poor Things probably would have been the only other film that competed with it, but I think it was just too weird for them to give it Best Picture, because then a lot of people are going to go watch it, and I can see them being turned off by the nudity and the rawness of that film. And then Zone of Interest is so experimental. That's something that you can't probably just like say anyone go watch it. So I think Oppenheimer had the best chances to win this, and everyone knew it was sweeping everywhere. Production design, I thought this for sure was going to go to Barbie. But it went to Poor Things, which I'm not mad at. Great production design. Kills the Flower Moon, Napoleon, all these had really great production design. I thought this would be Barbie, but they gave it to Poor Things. Poor Things really did really good this award season. I'm really happy. It's probably I think it's my third favorite movie of the year of 2023. I think it's Across the Spider-Verse, Beau Was Afraid, and then it was Poor Things. So I'm really happy for this film. Such a unique, weird film. But even though I thought Barbie was gonna win, I'm not mad at Poor Things. Honestly, if any of these would have won, I wouldn't have been mad. They all have really great production design. It really just leans to what your taste is. And I think that since Poor Things had a unique art style, it helped it rise above. And one last thing, that is original production design. Like Barbie, they're bringing to life the toy sets, so they had something to pull from. Poor Things, they created that all on their own. Animated short film, I haven't watched any of these. War Is Over, inspired by music of John and Yoko. I actually heard this was like the worst one out of these, but I don't know. I can't speak to that. Let me know if you guys seen any of these animated short films. Live action short film, The Wonder Story of Henry Sugar. I knew Wes Anderson was going to win this, but I heard these all good, and from what they showed, it looked really good. Best sound, Zone of Interest was going to have this locked up. The whole movie is about sound. There's no way that Zone of Interest is going to lose this, when the biggest thing, the best thing about the film is the sound. So yeah, that had that locked up. But this was all great. Oppenheimer sound was great. Mission Impossible was great. Maestro was great, obviously being a musical movie, and the creator had a really great sound too. And I love that they showed the sound in it, because when I thought about I was like the creator, but then when they showed the sound effects, I was like, oh yeah, no, it was really good. It was really immersive. So yeah, I'm happy that the creator got nominated. Fortunately, didn't do well at the box office and has mixed reception amongst fans. So I'm happy it's getting some shine. Visual effects, Godzilla -1. This was I think between Godzilla -1 and the creator, just based on narrative, to me, the best visual effects looking movie here is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 by far. But, you know, Marvel and the MCU is not really on the hype train anymore. I feel like the Academy doesn't feel like they have to give Marvel anything anymore now, and they're like pushing them to the side. And I think that Godzilla -1 narrative was just, you know, looking up and saying, the winner, the creator, doesn't sound as cool as the winner, Godzilla -1, and everyone getting so hyped. And I think that this was almost a lot for Godzilla to win, but I was really pulling for Guardians because what they did with Rocket and Teeth and everybody else and everything, I've talked about it in terms of like how beautiful it was. Even with my Zack Attack Awards thing I did yesterday, the live stream, I awarded Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with best visual effects. But Godzilla -1, man, I'm glad it got something because it's one of the best films of the year, and it's not revolutionary, but it's going to be a great note for 2023 in terms of that smaller movies, like low budget movies, can make a lot of money if you do them really well. This is adapted screenplay. This was kind of locked up for American Fiction. I'm really happy for Cord Jefferson. He gave a great speech about not having to make every big film of $250 million. Let's do smaller films. Let's give a lot more ideas a chance because people want to see these things. And I think that's a really great job at like promoting that. We got really great speeches this year in terms of really important ideas that the Hollywood needs to take under consideration. Barbie wasn't here. I really don't think it should have been. It should have been original screenplay. I know they took for something that already exists, but it's not based off a book or anything like that or any lore. I guess technically a little bit, but that's just weird. Oppenheimer, obviously, Poor Things is Zone of Interest. I think American Fiction had the strongest adapted screenplay. An original screenplay, I also agree with Anatomy of Fall. I gave my Zack Attack Awards. I gave American Fiction and Anatomy of Fall the screenplays as well. I agree. Holdovers was a strong one for me. I think the first like 15 minutes of Holdovers was a little boring, but after it got over that hurdle was great. Maestro, I don't think it deserves to be on this at all, but more people like that film than not. May December deserves to be on here with how weird it was. And while I'm not big on past lives, a lot of people, that screenplay really affected them, so it made sense. Okay, so that's all the nominees for of them and the breakdown I have. I'm gonna see what the chat has to say. If you're watching this afterwards, comment down below how you feel about the nominations, my breakdown, who you think should have won, or who you think should reverse. Break down and tell me who you think should have won and who you felt like was in there that should have been in there. Like, there's a lot of people that I thought should have been in there. The Oscars were great. They were really, really fun. We're not done with the Oscar talk yet. We're going to be talking about some of the best moments and some statistics from it that made history. Through the lens, the Oscars were pretty decent this year. I had bad moments, but I thought that a lot of the wins were excellent. I agree. One thing for sure, yesterday's price is not today's price for Mr. Murphy. That is a fact. Cillian Murphy's price is going up. That is true. I cannot make it through that Spider-Verse. Really, Brandon? Why not? That's very, very interesting. Hey, did you see that? Welcome to the live stream. He said, yo, I agree. Zach, I agree with. I wasn't a huge on The Boy and the Heron. How Suzume didn't get nominated and didn't beat that movie is beyond me. Suzume, I end up loving. So I agree with you there. It should have been nominated. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem should have been nominated. There's a couple animated films that I think should have been nominated. The animation Spider-Verse is way, way too much. Okay, you can't handle how much is going on. That's fair. Other people felt like that in Into the Spider-Verse. Miyazaki has won an Oscar before, which is crazy because everyone talked about him like he didn't. What? Spirited Away won an Oscar? I could have swore it didn't. Spirited Away Oscar. Oh, I typed that in before? Oh, it did. Why do people say that it didn't win an Oscar before? What the heck? So he's won an Oscar before. Oh my God. I don't think any of these films are easy to direct. Definitely, no film is easy to direct. I'm just saying that some people had a harder job. Though I didn't really like Barbie, it got robbed. I can see that. Oppenheimer definitely deserved the editing war. The Oscars weren't funny enough. No Chris Rock or Eddie Murphy. Jimmy Kimmel ain't funny. I don't agree. I thought Jimmy Kimmel was great. I thought him and Guillermo were great. I thought it was really funny. I had fun with that. I had fun when Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito came. There was a lot of fun moments for me. kilelrs definitely didn't deserve editing nom. It felt 40 minutes too long. I agree. It wasn't tight enough. I think Billie Eilish has more awards than Greta Gerwig and Margot nominated combined. Probably. Yeah. I still haven't seen Oppenheimer. Check it out, man. Next year, I think Dune Part 2 might sweep. I could be wrong. It's a long year. It's a long year. I can't say it will sweep, but I think it has a chance to get nominated for a lot of awards. Both Barbie's production and costumes already had designs they just had to take from smaller to life side. Not saying it's easy, but it's nearly as impressive as making something from scratch. Yeah, I can agree with that. Super happy for Cord Jefferson. Shout out to Cord Jefferson. What's up, Lawrence Report? I thought Iron Claw, Dream Scenario, and Cross the Spider should have been nominated for Best Picture. I don't agree with Iron Claw. I'm not as big on that movie as a lot of people are. Dream Scenario definitely, and definitely Cross the Spider-Verse. Okay, let's move on to the next Oscar talk thing we're going to do here. We're going to talk about the biggest moments of the Oscars this year. Let's go. This has come from the Washington Post site I don't usually use, but we're going to talk about some of the most shocking and funniest moments from the Oscars. Washington Post says, the most shocking moment of the 24 Academy Awards on Sunday night, the ceremony ended on time. Technically a few minutes early. Yeah, usually the ceremony goes on forever and ever and ever. So I'm glad that they kept it at it. They started earlier and ended early, and that's great. They need to keep it at that. It doesn't need to be this long thing for no reason. The telecast was slated to conclude at 10:30 and it ended 10:20. Presenter Al Pacino arrived on stage to award Best Picture and went about it in the most confusing way possible. Only one will take the award for Best Picture, and I have to go to the envelope for that. And I will. Here it comes. My eyes see Oppenheimer. That was so weird. That man was drunk. Al Pacino was on one when he did that, and they were just like, you know what? Let's just wrap it up and get everybody home. We already knew Oppenheimer was gonna win. Let's just move on. The audience seemed baffled, but then roared because, as expected, Oppenheimer, a sweeping epic detailing the creation of the atomic bomb, took home the biggest prize, capping the night with 7 trophies, including Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., and Christopher Nolan, cinematography, editing, and score. Wow. I think any of us who make movies know that you kind of dream of this moment. The reason this movie was the movie that it was Christopher Nolan. While Oppenheimer was predicted juggernaut of the night, earlier in the show, Poor Things had all the momentum, picking up wins for costume design, production design, makeup, and hairstyling, and that was far from before the Best Actress was announced. Obviously, Emma Stone winning Best Actress, beating Lily Gladstone in a tight race. It was a tight race, surprising those who considered the Screen Actors Guild Award one of the big precursors, and Lily Gladstone won that, but she didn't win the Academy Award. Stone gave a charming speech while accepting her Poor Things win, and obviously her dress was messed up. Everything in that speech was great. Her talking about, I think it popped when I Just Can't Happen. That was really great, and she acknowledged her fellow nominees. It was just a really great speech. You could tell she wasn't prepared to win. Davine Joy Randolph winning, and that was really expected. She gave a great speech as well for the holdovers win. You said, I didn't think I was supposed to be doing this as a career. I started off as a singer. That's interesting. It would be nice to see her in a musical or something like that if she can sing. She opened up about how imposter syndrome was damping her award season excitement, but when she accepting her trophy in the custom pale blue Louis Vuitton gown, the actress released all that pent-up emotion. For so long, I've always wanted to be different, and now I realize, oh yeah, Dave was just talking about this. I just need to be myself. Thank you for seeing me. Wow, that's great. When I was the only black girl in that class, you saw me and you told me I was enough. Whoever teacher was that's awesome. Jimmy Kimmel didn't make too many enemies. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel told some jokes, but he didn't like go too hard on anybody. He was pretty good. He played it right in the middle. He came at Robert Downey Jr. a little bit low hanging fruit, but he did a good job. Let's see. Emma Stone, you are so unbelievable, great, and Poor Things. Emma played adult women with the brain of a child, like the lady who gave the rebuttal to the State of Union address. Oh, God. Yeah, some of the stuff was great. It's very sweet, but I guess the question is, how many times can one One, bring his mom on his date before he's actually dating his mom. Are you working on a movie about Freud right now and not telling us? That's great. Robert Downey Jr. and his girlfriend, 35 years age gap. In 1976, Jodie Foster was young enough to be Robert De Niro's daughter, and now she's 20 years too old to be his girlfriend. Damn. That's so good. Yeah, man, he was funny to me. Multiple winners got political. Zone of interest talked about what's going on in Ukraine, which I think was important. We had someone talk about the Gaza situation, because a lot of people are forgetting about what's going on in Ukraine still. There's a lot of things going on in a lot of places right now. Sorry, it wasn't the zone of interest. Zone of interest people talked about Gaza because their film was kind of reflecting that a little bit. The 20 Days in Matrimony talked about what's going on in Ukraine. And once again, I hate that it says political. These are not political matters. These are just world matters that are going on. I guess there's politics involved, but just bringing light to some of the things that are going on, I don't think it's political. And yeah, Cillian Murphy talked about, being Irish and being proud of being Irish. And he's one of the big things. He's the first Irish actor to win Best Actor, which is great. And then Jimmy Kimmel, he talked about some social stuff. Cord Jefferson winning Best Actor Screenplay. His speech was amazing. That was the best speech of the night. He wrote The Good Place. Oh, he did The Watchmen. Okay, he has a really, really great track record. But him talking about the budget thing was really, really great. I talked about that before. The presenters, like they said, was pretty funny. Yeah, these two were really funny. What they were talking about, I really loved. Kinnaman and America Ferrera, they were really great. Michael Keaton with Catherine O'Hara was great. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito with Michael Keaton, the whole Batman thing was really, really fun. Oh my God, Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt doing Barbenheimer feud and everything that was going on there, talking about how it was not really a feud because look how we're doing, and him talking about Barbie is riding the coattails. All that was great and just for fun. Obviously, John Cena coming out naked on stage was was hilarious. I'm surprised they didn't talk about that they couldn't see him. That would have been really funny. Like, why is this paper floating? This was great. Oh yeah, Messi being on there and clapping for stuff. That was funny. I really enjoyed that he was there. That dog was great. And yeah, Messi right here. Love this dog. Hopefully he's in other movies. And yeah, I think the biggest moment of the night was Ryan Gosling crushing it in the I'm Just Kenna performance, paying homage to Marilyn Monroe. Started right behind Margot Robbie, and her reaction was hilarious. Him bringing Simu Liu and Kingsley Ben-Adir into it to have the other Kens. Wish he had more of the Kens in there. That would have been cool. Yeah, just having other people sing and going to Emma Stone and having that La La Land reuniting with them, going to the Barbie cast, showing his love, everything he did. He had the best performance of the night, and I think one of the best performances of the Oscars ever, to be honest. And obviously Barbie got shut out of everything except the one we expected, which was Best Original Song, the one we knew they were going to win. So at least they got that. But yeah, those are some of the biggest moments of the Oscars. What were some of your favorite moments, guys? In the live chat, and also if you're watching this after, down below, what were some of your favorite moments this Oscars that wasn't about people winning awards? Let's see what you guys got to say in the live chat. The John Cena thing was funny, and the web shot was funny too. Oh yeah, the Madden web shot. Oh, John Mulaney. Oh my God, he was hilarious. I don't know how they didn't bring that up. He was so funny when he did that whole speech about Field of Dreams and Madden Web. It was just amazing. He did a great job. He just kept going and going and kept getting funnier and funnier. You thought it was going to get annoying, but he was just great. Hopefully he gets a chance to host an award show. Just one more negative thing. One negative thing about the Oscars. Not everything is rosies, but we're going to talk about some of the facts that went on this 2024 Oscars. So films are getting long. The average duration of Best Picture nominee is 138 minutes. The shortest film in that was Zone of Interest, clocking 105 minutes. Killer Flower Moons was a whopping 206 minutes. And Hitchcock said that the right length for a film is related to the endurance of the human bladder. And then this year's vintage has absolutely no consideration for our bladders, and that's true. I had to get up and go use the bathroom during Napoleon, during Killers of the Flower Moon. Luckily, I was fine during Oppenheimer. The seats were kind of a free for all in Oppenheimer. I didn't pay for the ticket for Oppenheimer, so I was like, I'm definitely not getting up. Somebody take my seat because I had a pretty decent seat. But yeah, a lot of these, even like Poor Things was 2 hours and 45 minutes. A lot of the movies were pretty long. I think that Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and kilelrs raised it up a little bit more because American Fiction is not long, Maestro is not long, Holdovers is not long, Zone of Interest is not that long. So I think those three films raise the average up. But yeah, films are getting long because I seen Beau was Afraid was 3 hours last year. John Wick Chapter 4 was 3 hours. So there's a lot of long films, and I don't mind. Mission Impossible was long too. As long as the movie is great, as long as they fill the movie with stuff that needs to be done, I'm glad. I'm happy. But if it's long for no reason, like Napoleon was super long and that movie was not good, that's where the problem. The Holdovers is technically the first Christmas movie to be nominated for Best Picture since 1948. That's really, really interesting. That's the first Christmas movie to get nominated for Best Picture in a long time. That's years, way before I was born. Plastic is fantastic. Barbie may have missed out on some nominations, including Best Director, Best Actress, and obviously Greta Gerwig didn't get Director, but she's the first female director. Well, actually, the first director, male or female, to have her first 3 feature films nominated for Best Picture: Barbie, Lady Bird, and Little Women. So I feel like her win is going to come eventually. I don't know how long it's going to take because obviously she's going to be doing Chronicles of Narnia. Is it Chronicles of Narnia? Am I saying that right, chat? She's going to be doing that show for Netflix. But I think her next feature film, her and Noah will come up with something that she's gonna win an Oscar eventually. She keeps putting out films that are pushing it, and I think I'm excited for her. In the Best Director category, French director Justin Triet has become the only 9th ever female nominee. The first was Lena Murrell and Jane Campion, Sofia Coppola, Catherine Bigelow, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird. Wow, she got nominated for Lady Bird, but not Barbie. Emerald Fennell for Promising Woman, and she didn't get nominated this year. Chloe Zhao for No Man's Land, and Jane Campion again for The Power of the Dog, which was just 2 years ago. So yeah, and obviously only 3 people have won. Slow progress, but progress. This year marks the first time the Best Picture lineup has featured 3 films directed by women: Anatomy of Fall, Barbie, and Past Lives. Historic first for the Oscars. And even more progress. Also, said also 4 of the 10 screenplay nominees were written and co-written by women: Anatomy of Fall, Barbie, May December, and Past Lives. So that's big, man. We're little by little, we're getting there where more people can have opportunities. The fact that these people are nominated means that other people that of that gender, that color, that ethnicity, that religion can now get jobs. That's what is important about awards. And I want to make a video talking about that. Jeffrey Wright and Sterling Brown received their first ever Oscar nominations for American Fiction. By soon doing so, they have set a milestone as the first time a Black lead actor and supporting actor have both been nominated for the same film. That is amazing, and hopefully that is a trend that continues. This is a really great Oscars, man. Just I think this is why I keep telling people that 2023 is an all-time year, because I think that if they don't fumble the bag, a lot of this momentum is going to speak to what we do in the next 10, 15 years, and we're going to be seeing a lot of diversity in really powerful ways. And hopefully, like Cord Jefferson says, it doesn't have to be when it comes to Black people, Native Americans, Asians. It doesn't have to be stereotypical movies. Put them in roles that doesn't see them for their race, and they can just play the role like a lot of white contemporary actors can. Speaking of representation, Killers of the Flower Moon star Lily Gladstone makes history as the first Native American woman to be nominated for Best Actress. Gladstone is the member of the Blackfeet Nation, and she looks likely to, she didn't win, I guess. This was before. Nominations for both Coleman Domingo Rustin and Jodie Foster's Nyad as Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor category, respectively, marks the first time in the same year 2 queer people. See, that's what I'm talking about. 2 queer people getting nominated in the same year. So usually it's only 1 or none. So we got 2. So that's awesome as well. And Sandra Hüller, lead actress in Anatomy of Fall and supporting actress in Zone of Interest, killing it, is the first German-born actress to earn a nomination for Best Actress in 86 years. Holy crap, since 1938. That's awesome. And Kills My Moon earned 10 nominations. His 10th film earned Best Picture nomination. He has a ton of other ones. In addition to this, Scorsese also picked up his 10th Best Director nomination, meaning that he's not only become the oldest person to ever be nominated for Best Director at the age of 81, but also overtakes Spielberg for the Best Director nominations by any living filmmaker. And William Wyler has the most, but he passed away. And Robert De Niro is nominated for Best Supporting Actor and sets a new record for the longest time between an actor's first and last Oscar nomination, surpassing Katharine Hepburn, 48-year gap. Holy crap, that's crazy. Has that been that long between his first and 49 years since his first and his last? That's insane. Well, not last. He may get nominated again. You never know. But yeah, and then on the other side of that, obviously, he's John Williams is 92. Earned his 54th nomination, one of the oldest people to get nominated. And then on forgetting about old, going to young, Billie Eilish and Phineas won the award for Best Song. And they're 22 and 26-year-old each other, and the youngest two-time Oscar winners in history. And I think Bradley Cooper is the 5th most nominated living person to have never won an Oscar. He's been nominated 12 times and never won anything. Hopefully his day comes too. But yeah, those are some of the statistics, some of the history-making things that this Oscar provided. And I think that's really, really cool that we're seeing some historic things happen in our lifetime. Last thing that I want to talk about and bring up, and this was brought to me by Kenny Sparks, so to say, sponsored by Kenny Sparks. They did like a memoriam thing for the Oscars, and unfortunately, they left some people out in terms of the rendition. So the in memoriam segment of the 96 Academy Awards on Sunday night paid a moving tribute to several stars and moving industry folks who have died over the last year. But as ever, social media was quick to point out the most glaring omissions. During the telecast, the in memoriam segment featured Italian tenor Andrea Bocelli and his son Matteo performing a moving rendition of Con Petrio as pictures of towns who have died flashed on stage behind them. The segment opened with a tribute to the late Russian political activist Alexei Navalny, who died last month in prison in controversial circumstances. You're not allowed to give up. That's not what I really want to talk about. Segment also featured brief tribute photos to Matthew Perry, Chita Rivera, Ryan O'Neal, Tina Turner, Michael Gambon, Alan Arkin, Andre Braugher, Richard Lewis, Lee Sung-Koon, and Carl Weathers. Man, rest in peace. However, actors Lance Reddick, which is a really big one and makes me sad that he wasn't there, Ray Stevenson, Treat Williams, Ron Cephas Jones, and Burt Young, and legendary screenwriter Norman Lear and British filmmaker Terrence Davies were not in the main section and were instead adding to a longer list at the end of the segment. The users on social media were critical of so many big names being relegated to a list. Moreover, as the list was hard to read on screen, it was only featured momentarily, which was very, very unfortunate. I think the main thing with that, I think they should have just cut out the dancing. Like, there was a lot of focus on the dancers and the singers, and I really felt like they didn't need to show all that. They could have just really, really focused on what was going on in the telecast. How do you guys feel about that? Just bypassing so many people. Do you think they should have just did a better job of just showcasing the people instead of showing the dancers and the singers, or separated the memoriam throughout the day? Norman Lear should have been the first one on that list. He's one of the most influential TV producers of all time. Agreed. I wish they would have focused more on the people who passed away than the dancing, and they actually forgot to mention a lot of people. Yep.